Hi, everybody. We're back again. You're back at the Mary D Show on another beautiful Monday. And I can't thank you enough for stopping by. And thank you, replay viewers. Even if you're not here live, you can always see it. You can go to, you either see us on YouTube or you can go to Facebook, but you can still see the show. And I do appreciate those of you that come on. Those of you on YouTube, if you like the show, if you make a comment, if you subscribe, thank you, thank you, thank you, each and every one of you. I appreciate you more than you know. Ladies and gentlemen, today we have with us this wonderful gentleman who I've met. I've been in a mastermind for a couple of years now. And though I don't talk about it, but I can tell you this is what I've learned. All of us need mentors. And this gentleman and I were in the same mentor program. His name is Daryn Ramsey. He is the CEO of Diamond and Light Publishing, LLC. He is the founder of Ramsey's Corner, his blog that focuses on all things inspirational. In addition to that, Daryn is the author of Bold and Crazy Faith book series. Isn't that good? Bold and Crazy Faith. His first book, Bold and Crazy Faith, the inspirational, has been recognized by Amazon as a bestseller. And the second book, Bold and Crazy Faith, The Meditations, is set to be released October of 2021. Ladies, gentlemen, I'd like to introduce you to not only, he writes books, but he's also a screenwriter. Daryl, are you there? Daryn, I said Daryl. Yeah.
Okay, that's all right, Mary. I'm here. I'm excited to be here as well.
Well, thank you. And we have a comment already. Hi, Richard. They came on the show, Richard. I tell you, and ladies, those of you, ladies and gentlemen, when you put comments in, you can. Our goal is that you interact with us. So you can leave messages, leave comments. We'll respond to those. Well, I can tell you, you have been busy. I'm not going to go straight to the books. Let me do this. Let's go back because we as we both know, our books are coming from something deep inside of us, but there's other things that happen in our life to get here. Why don't you tell us a little bit about you?
Okay, sure, Mary. Most of it's in the bio, the professional, but beyond that, I'm an ordained deacon as well. That's where a lot of my inspiration comes from. But I'm a native of New Jersey, Neptune, New Jersey. I am located now in the DMV area, right outside of Baltimore. I've been located here approximately 11 years. Besides the books, I said to Mary that I'm a budding screenwriter, but Mary said, hold on with the budding. I know what you can do. I'm a screenwriter. Also, I've had an opportunity to act. I'm trying to get more involved in that, but it's a little bit about me.
Okay, but you also, I remember asking you a few questions about your background because in addition to that, that's the writing and the professional, but let's go back. In high school, you were a track and field all-star, first team on your all-state all-star. I must go down the list because it's impressive. You were the number one hurdler in all of New Jersey. That's impressive. No, that's huge. And number 5 on the East Coast, but you're in the top 10 in the nation, according to Track and Field News.
Yes, and indeed.
In addition to all of this, all of those accolades, you were also an all-star in football.
Yes.
Well, you saw the show last week when I was talking to the gentleman who's the Olympian. I'm always impressed when people go to these levels because it seems like just by reading everything, you would have gone into football or maybe another, those other areas. But you've gone a creative route, an entrepreneurial route. How did you get there?
Wow. I'm getting the chills right now. Literally right now. Because what a parallel. I didn't know we were going to go into it like that, but part of my success as an athlete and failures as an athlete is what drives me today. It's part of my inspiration. It's part of why I go as hard as I do. Because as an athlete, I was a gifted athlete. no doubt about it. God-given gifts. Gifts ran in my family. I had an uncle who played for the Philadelphia Eagles. Okay. From the same hometown. My father was an all-star athlete. My brothers, a lot of my family members. I'm talking about on a very, very high level. So it was a gift that ran through our family.
Right.
And so a lot of things came easy. I was a hard worker, but I could have been a harder worker, if you know what I mean. And so back then, I let my natural abilities. I was like on autopilot. Sometimes I worked hard. Sometimes I didn't. I kind of took things for granted and relied on my natural abilities. When you rely on your natural abilities and talent, they're only going to get you but so far. Okay. So you're going to need more than talent and gifts in order to reach your optimal levels.
Right.
Okay. And so I didn't do that. Okay. I did very well, but I could have gone farther had I done those things. When you have gifts, you need to hone those gifts. Okay. You have to respect those gifts.
Yeah.
Okay. And, and you have to be a very hard worker. And so from time to time, I was a hard worker, but there was from time to time, I just basically used my natural abilities. And so now in life, to me, I've been given another opportunity at another gift that God has given us. So for those that are out there listening right now, I think that most people know that we all have gifts.
Right.
There's something that God has given us that He has gifted us in.
Right.
But truth be known, most of us have more than one gift. And so now I'm operating in a different set of gifts.
Right.
And I'm going to take full advantage of it. What happened back then won't happen this time.
Well, you have to remember too, you were young. I mean, there's some things that went into this. You were young, like you said. You have your dad and your brothers. In other words, you probably didn't even recognize it as a gift. It was just,
no, I didn't.
You know what I'm saying? Everybody did it. So why would it be any different for you? So I don't think you squandered it or anything. Let me just tell you that now. You didn't, because how could you know then that this was something that everybody doesn't do? I think, and I have a bad habit of saying, I've actually said these things, and I said, oh, everybody could write a children's book. The truth is, everybody can't. No. And not only that, because it's a lot of things other people do that I can't do. So I've learned, like you said, which is really the truth. We all have gifts. Now, is it the same gift? No. And then we're given, even at different times. I can almost venture to say, if I were to have you go out and run high hurdles now, you'd be like, I don't think I'm going to do that right
now. No. So, gifts won't work now. Not in that area.
Not that area. But there's other gifts you are honing, like we said. Your gift in writing. And I've read your writing, so I know that you're gifted. You're working on a screenplay now. We both are working on screenplay. I can't believe I'm saying that, but I am. I'm working on mine too. And in fact, I think you read mine. You read my treatment. That's what.
Oh yeah, I gave you great critiques.
You did. But that's telling you, there were times I didn't even know I could write. So here it is. That's just what you're saying. And then now, you're not only are you writing, you're in the faith. Even that, I'm sure, there's been a transformation in your life to come into that reality. So maybe you can. How is Bold and Crazy Faith? How did we get there?
Right.
How did you get to that?
Yeah, and so we'll go very deep into that in Bold and Crazy 3. Okay, which the plan is to be the true story or my life story. And so that probably the plan right now is maybe 3 or 4 years from now.
Right.
But yeah, Bold and Crazy Faith. Bold and Crazy. Let's get into what is Bold and Crazy Faith. Bold and Crazy Faith is a level of faith that you need, or the level of faith that you obtain when you know and believe who you are. When you know and believe that you are a child of God. When you know and believe that there's privileges connected
Mm-hmm.
your relationship and your connection with God. That is bold and crazy faith. All right.
Oh.
Short, simplified, bold and crazy faith is very, very strong faith. All right.
Okay.
So in order to get there, it's gonna take a lot. It's gonna take a lot of life, a lot of living, a lot of life experiences, a lot of setbacks, a lot of persecution, a lot of things that are going to happen that are going to test your faith,
Right.
which in return is going to build your faith. But it's a lot of living that's going to happen in order for you to obtain bold and crazy faith. And so I've gone through a lot in my life. From from having what some people would consider or say, I've heard you had it all. I could have had it all, but they were trying to refer to like you had the winning ticket. You could have done anything. And I've been here, and then I've also been here in my life.
Mm-hmm.
All right. But it took me to know and to form a relationship with God, to realize who I was. And once I knew and learned who I was, things started going up, and it never went back since then. And so bold and crazy faith is the level of faith that you need to fully know who you are and to be able to live out, recognize, and live the kind of life that you are supposed to, being a child of God.
All right. I'm giving you a hand, but I'm reading what Elaine. Hi, Elaine. Hi, Elaine.
Hey, Elaine.
Hi, Gwen, Dumas, and Richard. Thank you all for your comments. Elaine said, so true. God gives each of us specific gifts. Our gifts are what's giving us our purpose. We must live in our purpose and thank God. And also, thank you, Elaine. Gwendolyn said, and this is my cousin. Hi, Gwen. She said, she said, hi, Daryn. Also noted that so few gifted athletes ever get the opportunity to go pro. Great, you didn't stop there. And that does happen. People, whether they make it or not, they don't. Sometimes they don't, and then that's it. And other times they do, and they don't recognize they have other gifts too, which you said we have more than one. And Dumas said, amen. Hi, Dumas. And Dumas is also a friend, and so is Richard. Thank each and every one of you guys for your comments.
Amen.
I think, honestly, I think I'm listening to you about the going up and the coming down. I know I've been through so many. I don't even want to go through it. If I sat here, you guys would be like, "That's all she's doing is complaining." I choose not to do that. So, but I will say this: what you're saying is, it sounds like your faith. You changed the way you were thinking about what was going on, and then it changed your direction and projection. Once you start giving your life over to God, and you start thinking. Instead of thinking negatively, and when people say they think you've missed something, the truth is you haven't. We are all where we are supposed to be.
Right.
You think about the fact that we met, and we met through the mastermind. That's how we had the opportunity to meet. But what if we had never joined the mastermind? You know what I'm saying? So we wouldn't be here today.
That's right.
We are where we're supposed to be.
Yeah.
I know that's hard for me sometimes to think about that too. But I've also learned, I'm sure you have too, things don't happen to you, they happen for you.
That's right.
Would you be the man you are today had you not had those things happen to you?
No way. No way. Nowhere close. It's amazing. At one time, I couldn't believe that or think that.
Yeah.
But, they say God will restore the years, but he'll restore the years and then some.
Oh, yeah. But you have to know that. You have to know that all those years you were playing, and I mentioned this, I think, before too, because being an athlete, you are the competitiveness of an athlete. We want to win. Let's be honest. When you're on, and even what I've learned too, and I'm sure you have too, even when you lose, you win. I know that sounds crazy. The fact that you are competing, you've won.
Absolutely.
You've won. And when we write, I have a granddaughter. She's written a book. She won't let me publish it because she said, Nana, I'm afraid somebody's going to say something bad. And I said, Naseya, people say things about my books And she goes, they do? I said, yeah, everybody doesn't like what you do.
Mm-mm.
But you have to have enough belief in yourself, enough
Right.
belief to know you can't worry about people that don't like it. What you have to
Yeah,
do is focus on the people that do.
that's right.
So I know we haven't had a chance to see just the cover of your book for Bold and Crazy Faith. Let's hold your book up so our audience
Yeah.
can see.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So actually, so in the background is a cover of the first book,
Okay.
and then I also have it here. Okay,
So
this
those
is
of you
this
that like to get Bold and Crazy Faith, please take your time. It's on Amazon, correct?
it's on Amazon. It's on my blog. It's where books are being sold.
Oh,
But Bold and Crazy Faith was the first book in the Bold and Crazy Faith series,
okay.
and it was the inspirational,
Mm-hmm.
and the subtitle was "How to Increase Your Faith so that you can live a bold and abundant life in Christ."
Oh,
And
I
so,
like that.
yeah, and so the second, it will be released in October.
Mm-hmm.
That will be Bold and Crazy Faith 2,
Uh-huh.
the meditations.
Okay.
And so this is a book of meditations. There's 30 meditations, one for each day of the month.
Oh,
And it's a different take versus the first.
uh-huh.
Bold and Crazy Faith, the first, the inspirational, was more a book of uh, giving you principles to build your faith. It took you through the Christian journey.
Mm-hmm.
And so it taught you how to build your faith using various principles, but it paralleled the Christian journey, and it gave you an explanation of what to do and how to achieve bold and crazy faith over time. Because
Right.
so faith comes by hearing, and hearing by the word of God. That's one of the principles.
Mm-hmm.
But the journey is a long time, the Christian journey, and it comes with a lot of highs and a lot of lows. But
Right.
it helps you navigate in between the highs and the lows.
All right.
Bold and Crazy Faith 2,
Mm-hmm.
Mary,
Uh-huh.
is a book for people who they want. It's like, Mr. Ramsey, okay, that's fine. The Christian journey, that's fine. I got that. I understand that. It's a journey. It takes a while,
Right.
but you know what? I don't have time for that, man.
Oh.
I need faith now. Okay. I just lost my job. I need something now.
Yeah.
Okay. I have friends and family that I lost to COVID-19. I don't have time to be reading a book that's 208 pages. I need something now, Mr. Ramsey. And
Mm-hmm.
so Bold and Crazy Faith 2 was written for these times. Okay.
Okay.
Bold and Crazy Faith 2 is 30 short reads that is laid out over 30 days.
Okay.
Each day is a different topic,
Mm-hmm.
and it's unconventional because it does have biblical aspects, of course,
Mm-hmm.
but it also has more familiar uh, terms and topics such as affirmations.
Okay.
Some people wouldn't necessarily consider affirmations. Some people wouldn't consider affirmations biblical,
Mm-hmm.
uh, but affirmations, journaling for accountability, um, you know, mindset. You talked about mindset earlier.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, uh, you know, changing your mindset,
Right.
things of that nature. So it gives you a short read that you can read daily, and
Right.
it can help you right now in your situation. So the first book could also do that, but this
Mm-hmm.
book is more so designed for short reads. Get it in now and come back to it later on.
All right. Now I know the first. Okay, that was the first two, but I've already I talked to you about what you're coming out with number three, which is really you said it's going to be very interesting because it really is more. It sounds like more of a memoir or autobiography than it does, but it's going to be bold and crazy faith, but it'll be three.
Exactly, and it will be
Okay.
more of a autobiography memoir type of book. So this whole series is again unconventional. With first, uh, it was nonfiction book. It was more of a teaching,
Right.
building your principle book.
Mm-hmm.
The second is pretty similar, although
Mm-hmm.
it's laid out differently. It's more of short reads,
Okay.
devotions or meditations, And then the third, like you said, is a autobiography or memoir, and one hoping to be a movie.
Whoa, okay. Now
adaptation.
We know how that goes. We know we've come. We know that really basically you speak it, it'll be a movie. Let's be honest.
Speaking things into existence, chapter 6. Bold and Crazy, Faith the Inspirational.
You have to, and I was talking to my husband earlier, and I thought, oh, I'm actually writing another book, and he's like, it's really one at a time. We're still one at a time, and I think it really is what we say. I'm really starting to come to terms with what we say. What is it that you want your books to do? What is it how do you want them to, help affect people's lives? And that's what they're doing. You're giving people, the title alone, I just love. And honestly, I think it could be titled, like you said, of a movie. It sounds like a movie title.
Yeah. When I first heard it from God. So when I first heard it, it came from Him. I said to myself that, wow, this sounds like the title of a book.
See,
but at the same time, I'm thinking, or a movie,
right?
And so there's not a doubt, no doubt in my mind that God gave that to me, because He wanted me to inspire people in that way, and to use my life as an example to inspire people. And so I'm just trying to roll it out as He would have it. And as long as I do that, I should be okay.
Yeah, I know. I don't doubt that. No, you definitely got. And too, just the writing experience. What I don't know about you. I wish I could say I set aside this time during the day, and this is the time I really don't. But I do write every day, but it's at different times and depending on what's going on in my day. Mm-hmm. But the key is I do write every day. That's what I've learned. That, and like you said earlier about honing your skills, and the only way to do it is to do it.
That's right.
There is no shortcut to it. Yeah. There's no way to get around it. It's just you got to do it. You have to, daily I find time to write. Daily, I'm always writing something. It could be a short story. It can be a children's book. It can be. I'm working on journals. I'm into journaling because I found that when people can start writing, it doesn't even matter what it is. It gets those juices going. And next thing you know, they may write poetry. That's another big thing people write is poetry. But you have to start somewhere. That's what I would tell. How did you start? What was your first beginning into writing? Have you been writing since a teenager, or when did you first start writing?
Right. So good question. So I've always liked to write. Okay. And for grade school through middle school through high school, I've always enjoyed writing. Mm-hmm. But I didn't really get into, when I look back, even in college, I can remember the different placement. They had classes where you had to write in order to be placed in a specific level class. Mm-hmm. I can remember sometimes having difficulty. I can remember my freshman year at Virginia State University, and we had they pulled us all together. I don't know, they maybe split us up 50 apiece or whatever, and we had to write for them to determine what level of English or whatever literature that you would be placed in. Right. And back then, I don't know if they still do it. They have remedial classes. If they thought that you needed work, but I remember that day drawing a blank. I got the pen in my hand and I drew a blank. I was like, oh, here we go again. I mean, that's something that does happen at that time and still does from time to time. Happen every so often. And I'm like, oh, not now. I'm not going to draw a blank today. And as quickly as that thought came, I got an idea and started writing. So I honestly can't remember the topic of what I wrote about on that day, but I remember that day. I mostly remember drawing a blank, right? Writer's block or whatever. And but that day, and for me, it's always once I get started, I just go.
Okay.
Sometimes it's hard to get started, but once I get started, I just go, and then it's like I don't want to stop. I don't want to lose the thought process. I'll sit for hours at a time. I can get hungry. I can get thirsty, and I just don't want to get up.
Oh, because you don't want to stop that creativeness that's
Yeah,
going. Yeah,
yeah,
I
yeah,
totally get that. Do you get
yeah.
ideas like off the cuff of like you're watching, let's say you're watching a movie and you get an idea for another idea for you based on, based on something else you've seen? You get
all,
ideas like that?
all the time,
I do too. I do
all the
too.
time, all the time, man.
We just watched just yesterday. We hadn't seen The Available Wife. We watched it for the first time.
Yeah.
Are you in that Available Wife? Are you in that? You're in.
No, I'm not in that one.
Okay, okay, but you're in which one?
I'm in Holiday Heartbreak.
Okay, for the
Okay,
let me tell
that's one.
everyone so they know we're talking about. Ladies and gentlemen, we're talking about movies by our mentor Tressa Azarel Smallwood. She
Right.
is we got to give her props.
That's right. Give it to
Give it to
her.
her props. Okay, Tressa, we're giving you those hand claps
All right.
because she is she's definitely my mentor, and she's Daryn's mentor also. I've learned to screenwrite because of her class, but also just write in general. And I'll never forget the day she actually told me this. I was telling her, I said, "Oh, Tressa, I have all these ideas. I couldn't hardly, I was about to bust from ideas." And she was so quiet and she said, "Mary, do them all."
Yeah.
I'll never forget that day because it was like a shock to hear her say that. But she said, "Do them all." And as many people probably could attest, I've been doing them ever since. It was almost like I needed permission. That's what I think it was. But anyway,
Yeah.
from her, learn it from going through her classes and everything else is why when you say about you've been on sets now, on movie sets, you've been one of the, I think you said in Holiday Heartbreak, you actually were, you end up get IMDb credits, I think.
Yeah, I had a small role in it.
That's now from being connected with this media mogul, because that's
Absolutely.
what it is, a media mogul. I haven't had the opportunity yet. My husband and I were saying we want to work on one of our movies. We're on the West Coast, and most filming goes on the East Coast, but we're gonna try and work it out. But I will tell you, just being connected with her, she's reviewed our writings and has really encouraged us as screenwriters and everything to just keep going, and it's gonna happen. So when I hear your title, that already it resonates in me. So I'm sure I don't have to. I already know how it feels about her. If I'm thinking this should be a movie, just keep going. Just keep going. You're gonna, as they say, we're gonna get where we have to go.
That's right. That's right. Thank you, Mary.
Just stay in there, and it's gonna happen. I know too. As I was going reading from your, you also have a publishing company. I saw that the title of it is Diamond and Light Publishing. How did you come up with you're the CEO of Diamond and Light. How did you come up with the name Diamond and Light Publishing?
Yeah, that was tough. I was just thinking hard. It was almost like when I was at Virginia State University trying to be placed for that class. I drew a blank, but I did know that I wanted the name to be inspirational.
Okay.
Because for me, that's where I want to do inspirational projects. And so I'm thinking, okay, what is the title? I mean, what is the name of the company going to be?
Right.
And so I started thinking about me and my life. And then, so for me, Mary, I've always had this, I don't know if I needed to try to use it to try to motivate myself or not. I really don't know. But I've always felt like, for me in my life, like I was a diamond in the rough. I always felt that I always felt that I was good at a lot of things. Very good at some things.
Right.
But I always felt that, that for some reason, I just didn't receive my due. Like I never could just be that person that people said was the absolute best. It was always somebody else. It was always somebody. And I always kind of felt like an underdog, believe it or not. And so, I said, I always felt like I'm a diamond in the rough. A diamond in the rough. And so that's what I wanted to name the company, Mary. But I did the Google search to see if there was somebody else that had that name, and they did.
We know how that goes.
Yeah. And so I couldn't use Diamond in the Rough.
Okay.
And so I just, brainstormed some more. And
Okay.
then I thought of inspiration. I thought of God. I thought of the marvelous light. And I said, Diamond and Light. And so my company will be called Diamond and Light Publishing.
All right.
Amen.
I tell you, because I know she encouraged us to definitely start our own publishing company. So I came up, this is about 3 years ago, and I came up with the name for ours is Front Page Publishing, LLC. And that's the publisher for, it just depends. We actually are publishing for other people now, which is, I really never thought about it. I know, but I'll be honest, it wasn't some of this has happened. This good word is that you hear is organically. It really is. I say it's God. That's what I say. There's nothing but God, because much of it I never really I wasn't going in that direction. Let me just say that. But it seems to me you've been a writer because you belong to the Black Writers Guild of Maryland. You also are you've written for Speakers Magazine. So I'm saying you know what I mean? You really have a history. In addition to that, you've been on the Michael Collier Morning Show, been featured on the show. And you said, as you said, we talk about holiday heartbreak, and Tiffany Yancey has already been a guest on the show.
Tiffany. I saw some of your interview with Tiffany.
Okay. She came on as well as Tressa did also. Tressa's been a guest on the show too.
I saw that.
I you know what I feel like? I feel so comfortable with everybody. It's like I invite everybody to the show, distance yourself, and I feel like we're just we've known each other forever. Yeah. It's that feeling. And I don't know if it's because we're all writers or we're all in that creative mode. I don't know. But that's just how it feels to me.
Yeah, we have that understanding. Yeah, you were saying earlier, we were talking about pre-interview about being an athlete. And, you were an athlete. And so it's something that you have in common. Yes. Commonality and understanding of what you need to go through. But we all inspire one another. That's the greatest thing is we inspire each other. So I'm inspired, and I continue to be intentional about being inspired. I like to say inspiration is all around you. You just got to look around.
That's right. That's it. I always say it's in the air. I don't know if I never mentioned. Anyway, this next book that I'm writing is called Stuck in the Elevator. It's based on a true story. My husband and I were stuck in the elevator. We were in Brazil, stuck in there with 9 people. And I wrote, this is, I know, we did get out, okay?
I know it had to be hot.
It was hot and it was uncomfortable and it was scary. It was all of those things.
Yeah.
But when we got out and I realized about 20 minutes after we got out and I was telling him, I said, Oliver, that's a children's book. And he's like, what's a children's book? Because he's like, what are you, but I realized it took a few minutes to come. We were stuck in the elevator with 9 people. That's a children's book.
Yeah.
And I wrote the book. So now we have someone doing the artwork for the book. Awesome. So it really showed me ideas. It's almost like you have to catch them right there in the air. If it could have just went by and I didn't even notice it, but I really thank God that he's bringing me into the reality of pay attention.
Yeah.
These are things you can work with. These things you can create and make stories out of. So, but as I was reading too, like you said about working with Tiffany, and the reason I even mentioned this, she said her idea for her turned into a movie, Holiday Heartbreak, was based on a conversation with her father. Conversation.
I didn't know that. We know a lot about the foundation of that story from our mentorship.
Right.
But I didn't hear that part. I knew that it was another genre and a different name, but I didn't know that. So that's interesting.
And so when she said he the same, similar, not the exact same thing, but she said the minute he said it, was like he was saying, like there was something negative going on in his life, and that's why she wasn't able to get married, which that wasn't true or anything like that. But she said what he said, it triggered that story in her. The conversation triggered a story. And I thought about that. I said, it happens to all of us.
Yeah.
We're not recreating anything. We're using the things
Mm-hmm.
around us to
Yes, we
bring
are.
these stories to life. Your
Yeah.
story is based on bold and crazy faith. That's what you have.
Yeah. I got it. I surely have it now. And let's talk. Listen.
I
You're talking about your daughter earlier and saying that she had some ideas and
yeah.
she was afraid that people might not like it. But one thing to say about that, you got to have thick skin.
I
You got
know.
to have mental toughness.
Yeah.
But also when you have bold and crazy faith, a lot of people surely aren't going to like it. Some people think it's arrogant.
Yeah.
Some people think it's cocky. But that's all right though. You got
But
to roll with it. You
with
got
you
to
know,
roll with it.
I like that. Now, I don't know. And I often bring up this man's name on my show. For some of you don't know who he is, but I say it anyway because I always listen to him. And his name is Gary V. Gary V does a
Oh yeah.
lot of cursing. You know Gary? Okay. He
Yeah.
curses
Yeah.
a lot. That's what try to tell people. Just so you know, I look past that and I want to hear the message. And I really think he uses the cursing to push people away. I'm not saying I absorb the cursing. I absorb the message that he's saying. And Gary V has been he's like a personal coach. Not that I don't know the man personally. Let me just say,
Yeah.
as
Yeah.
far as listening to the things he says, but he's been so encouraging us to like what you're doing. You have,
Thank you.
we have to grow to this. Let me
Mhm.
just say this. You've
Yeah.
grown to it, and I've grown to it that what we are doing, we've given ourselves permission to do. Your writings, you've given yourself permission to have bold and crazy faith. You've given yourself permission to write books that are going to change people's lives.
Thank
All
you.
of these things you can't take for granted. You can't. You've given yourself permission to have your own publishing company. You've given yourself, and
Amen.
you've given yourself permission. And then in addition to that, you're also an ordained deacon at
Hmm.
your church. That is all of these steps, all of the just one by one by one by one. And I can't even tell you how proud I am of you that
Thank you, Mary.
you've given yourself permission. And this is just the beginning. Think about that.
Beginning, just to begin, a lot of you know, like yourself, with the was it 40 books?
I don't talk about it, but yeah.
40 books, everybody. She's interviewing me, but I must say she has 40 books. I'm on number two, but like Mary, I'm very inspired that I have a lot of books that aren't to be yet. They are outlined already, and they are in development. So
Yeah.
there's a number of them that are in development. The outlines are done. Some of the outlines have been done for about 18 months,
Right.
years. And so you have to learn how to shift and be flexible because Mary and I talked about this before. Things aren't always going to fall in order all the time. So you got to be able to shift and move. Um, I had a movie treatment, should I say rough draft of a movie before I even wrote the first book. And
Yeah.
so, but I had to put that on the back burner because that wasn't what was working at that time. And
Right.
so now I'm getting into that. But I also have some books outlined and I have some movies that are in development always. But you got to be flexible. You got to listen. You got to learn. You got to have good people around you. You
Yep.
got to have mentors. You got to
Yeah.
be inspired by other people. And the sky is the limit.
You're right about that because I guess I didn't even know um, I could write. Well, if you don't, I'm just my quick story. Mine came out of pain due to the death of my youngest brother. 90 days later, my mother, and the pain of that was so unbearable. But out of that, I've been writing. Found out I could write. And every time I think about that, which one of my sons mentioned to me not too long ago, he said, Mom, what if they had not passed? Would you be writing? I said, I don't know. I really don't know. I just know I was in so much pain that literally I think I was so open to receive things. And
Mhm.
a friend came over and she told me a story, but she wasn't telling it to me. It really wasn't a story. She was just telling me what her and her daughter went through. But as soon as she was talking, I said, that's a children's book. I had never written a book in my life. But I sat down, I did the one thing that changed my life. I wrote it down.
Yeah.
I wrote it down.
You had it.
So I didn't know then that it would change my life.
Wow.
But and that book has not even been, it's not even in print yet. But I look back and I go, that was God.
Yeah.
That was God.
Yeah.
And we have these pivots, but if you don't see them or recognize them, then you can miss it.
You can miss it. Write it down. People, you hear it all the time. Write it down, write it down, write it down.
And I didn't even
listen, that can change a lot of lives. Write it down.
But we don't.
And Mary, can I say this also?
Yes, please.
And our viewers and listeners have heard this before, but I'm gonna say it again.
Okay.
And do it scared.
Yes.
Okay. You know, you look at me right now. You may be looking at me right now. You may be looking at Mary right now. Yeah. You know, we may not be nervous right now, but there are times in some of our endeavors where you do get nervous.
Oh yeah.
You know, how about being in our mentorship, and they ask you to go ahead and talk about your idea in front of everybody.
Yeah.
Or, you know, or you're afraid that people are going to think that your idea or your log line sounds silly.
Yeah.
You gotta do it scared. You know, you gotta be bold.
Yeah.
You gotta step out on faith, and you'll be surprised at what'll happen.
I'm giving you a hand for that, because that's describing my life. Because I tell you, I don't want to give to. I tell the audience the story, but many people know I retired early from education. I was a teacher, and I literally went to my boss one day and said I'm gonna retire, and she tried to talk me out of it. Mm-hmm. And I look back now, and it wasn't mean or anything. It was because she said, you know, you just stay a few more years, you're going to get a bigger retirement. And I said, but there's no guarantee I'm going to live a few more years.
That's right.
So I need to make a change now. And I did. But I'll tell you the truth, Daryn. I was scared. I'm going to tell you, this is, God knows this is the truth. I was scared. I did not prepare, quote unquote. I didn't have all the ducks in a row and all the retirements. None of that.
Right.
So it literally was a trusting God.
Yeah.
And my husband would agree. And he's on here now. He said, oh, let me see if I think he has a comment. Oliver, this is my husband, Oliver. Hi,
hey, Oliver.
He said he wanted to thank you for coming to the show. He said you're very informative and inspiring. Oh, that's nice of you. And he said it's a very good show. Hi, babe.
Thank you very much, Mr. Welch.
Oh, I tell you, you know, and for people that don't, behind the scenes, there's no way I could do what I do without Oliver. Oliver is right there supporting me, keeping me going when I'm sometimes like I'm tired and all those things. And I may be, but he also knows too I can do it. The first one to purchase all my books is Oliver goes on and buys all my books before anybody else can buy them.
There you go. That's
so
right. Family first.
It does. He does. And he keeps copies. He really does. I mean, very supportive.
That's awesome. Let me give my wife a shout out too while we're at it before I get in trouble.
Okay. Come on now.
Let me tell you, you know, my wife is one of my biggest inspirations.
Yes.
Okay. I certainly would not be where I am right now without my wife.
I love it.
Without a doubt. So she is very inspiring.
Yeah.
She's a go-getter. My wife is also an entrepreneur.
Okay.
Yeah. And when she says she's going to do something, she does it.
All right.
But so I got inspiration living right here with me. So
it makes a difference.
Yeah. It does. You gotta have support in your family.
You do. You do. So we're thanking our spouses because then your wife's name is
Deborah.
Deborah. Okay.
Deborah. Called Deb.
Oh, Deb. Hi, Deb.
Hey, baby.
I tell you, and you know, like it or not, we can never thank them enough. Never.
That's right, never.
Oh, and we have a comment from Gwen. She said, "Excellent, supportive husband, Oliver." And then she said, shout out your wife. Her name, see?
Deb.
To Deb.
Deb Ramsey.
I
at
did that.
Decorative Blends.
Oh, thank you, Gwen. Gwen's like, we got to get that name in there.
Thank you, Gwen.
I tell you, it means a lot to them
Yeah,
because you don't really see that other, the other side that as they call the better half of us.
that's
They
right.
only see us, but
Can't
it's
do it without them.
yeah, to have that better half there and that person there. So it many times I'll say ideas and I don't know if your wife is like this, and he'll go, "That's a good idea," And sometimes I'm thinking, I don't know if it's a good idea or he just saying it's a good idea.
Well, my wife always tells me, she'll say, if you say it's a good idea, it really must be because you'll let me know if it isn't. She'll say, well, I respect that coming from you.
I tell you, but see, this is what people don't know, ladies and gentlemen. I don't know about yours because I can be up writing 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning. People don't see that side. They don't see that
No.
it's a different life.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes in fact, I think it was yesterday, I was watching a game. I was in the office working. And so my days are not the same as they probably would be. But at the same time, he understands that he's aware. I'll say that I'm right here. All I want to do is get all this in my head out on paper.
Yeah, that's
That's
right.
what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to get it down. So,
Yeah.
but thank you, Gwen. Thank you, Sheila. Thank you, Oliver, Elaine, Dumas, Richard. And did I miss anybody? No, I want to make sure. I want to make sure I say thank you to each and every one of you for your comments because we really do appreciate it, and we appreciate you coming on today too, because I know you're a busy man. You have been, like you said, writing. You've been acting. And even though you try to use the word budding, I said no, there's no such thing. There's no such thing. You're writing.
Yeah.
You're writing movies now, and I think like you said, the Bold and Crazy Faith 3 is the one you want to make into a movie.
Yeah. Well, I have various Christian dramas.
Okay.
I have a script done already. It's done. It's done.
What?
I have some treatments that quite a few of them. So I got a few Christian dramas. I have a holiday movie. I have a thriller. I got quite a few projects that are in development. But for all intents and purposes, many of you can always go back and revise. And we always say scripts are never done. They may be done, but they can always be touched up on. But I have several projects that are done.
Okay.
Pre-review.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, they're done. They're done. They're ready to go. They're ready to be pitched.
Are they?
Yeah.
That's good. I've only done the one pitch. Never done two. One, and that was I can't describe it. Let me say that I can't describe it because you and I know when we write, these are our babies.
Yeah.
They're our babies. Those projects are your babies.
Yes.
You give birth to them. You breathe life into them.
Yeah.
They do what you want them to do. Those characters, and I don't know how you feel about this. I feel like the characters talk to me.
Yeah, yeah.
I never thought I could say that. On the one I'm writing now, I actually hear the character talking, and I'm like, what is going on here?
Oh yeah, you got a certain tone going on. You know the tone.
It is.
I'm actually believing the names. If you look at my IG post today, I even have a hashtag, who is Faith Lawrence? So Faith Lawrence is one of my characters. I don't know if you want to call it subliminal, but I've been putting a hashtag, who is Faith Lawrence, in a lot of my posts, probably for the last year and a half. Because people are going to know who Faith Lawrence is eventually. I know what her voice sounds like.
Yes.
I know what her husband, Dr. Michael Lawrence's voice sounds like. And one day, our viewers and listeners, they're going to know what their voice sounds like.
I like that idea because now you're making me think of putting mine out there, hashtagging it.
I put them in the stories too.
I never thought of doing anything like that. And so it picks up momentum and other people will start hashtagging it.
They're saying, who is Faith Lawrence? What is he talking about? Who is Faith Lawrence? What is that about? I'm going to come back and find out. Maybe I can learn more about her.
I like that idea.
She's a Christian.
Uh-huh.
She's a socialite. She has a shopping habit.
Okay. I think, is that the one I read your treatment on? I think it is.
Yes.
That's sure. I was, when you started talking, I'm like, I recognize this story.
Yeah, see, and they will too soon.
Okay. See, I remember her. And I remember, I think I critiqued that one, didn't I? Because I liked it. I did.
You did. Yeah.
That's why you're talking. I say, why does this sound familiar to me?
Yeah.
Yes.
Christian drama, transparency. Christians are not perfect. We have drama in our lives also.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So, just because you have drama in your life and just because you haven't dotted every I or crossed every T doesn't mean that, you can't get to know God, or you can't go to church, or you can't do whatever. Because guess what? None of us cross every dot every I and cross every T.
Nobody.
We all got drama. We all got issues. But guess what? Every day we try to get better and better and better.
Oh,
that's our goal, to try to improve every day.
I tell you.
So I want to tell a lot of stories that are transparent. I want to tell real stories.
Okay.
I don't want to sugarcoat things, and I want them to be, the Christian dramas era, because I don't want to just do Christian dramas, but I want them to be, have some biblical principles in them.
Right.
I want them to reflect Christ and the love of Christ, but I want them to be transparent, because all Christians, there are no perfect Christians. And so I want to tell real life stories that are inspirational.
Now, let me ask you this.
Yes.
Someone here listening, we're talking about our movies that we're writing. There is somebody here that's going, how did they get there? How did they go for, like, you, for instance, yours was books to movies. Mine is, I just had the idea, and that's what it's making. In fact, so when we get off today, I'm working on that script. Somebody's going to want to know, how did we get there? How did we go from a book to scripts, or from movie, or from mine would be, I wrote children's books first, and then I've gone into writing, being a screenwriter. So now, what would you tell somebody that's interested in doing that?
Yeah, sure. It's in, who are you hanging out with? Okay, it's your influences. Okay, this is not a pitch. This is not a shameless plug, but I do have a day or a chapter called Positive Influences and Associations. And so when you're hanging out with positive influences and associations,
right,
you're going to take on the likeness of those positive influences and associations, and likewise negative influences and associations.
Correct.
So we don't want that. We don't want to be hanging out with negative people and negative associations, because we're either going to stay the same, stagnant, mediocre, or we're going down.
Right.
We want to be around people that are smarter than us, that know more than us, or have the same goals and aspirations that we do. Okay. And so when you're doing that, you become inspired. Once you start doing things, you'll just start ending up in different rooms with different people. And then the next thing you know, you're like, wow, I didn't even know that I can do this. Or wow, I didn't even know, I never even wanted to do that. But now I'm kind of curious. I never wanted to be an actor. But I started writing books. Right. And started writing, screenplays.
Right.
And I started being interested in maybe producing and what happens on set, and try to get a background role to get a closer view. And next thing you know, it's like, hey, can you do this? And now I got a role in a movie. That wasn't the plan initially. And so when you start hanging out with different people and you start showing up in different places, good things will happen. Now, biblically, the Bible says your gift will make room for you.
Yep.
Okay, so do the best that you can, do the right things, line up with the will of God, and then things will start happening in your life. You will start showing up in places that you never, ever believed. Ephesians 3:20. He will do exceedingly and abundantly beyond all you can ask or think. And it's the truth. He's still showing me things that's blowing my mind.
Mm-hmm. Well, I know.
So that's how you end up writing. That's how you end up doing all these different things. But find a mentor.
Yep.
Find somebody else that's already doing it, not somebody that's talking about doing it, or somebody that's telling you that you can't do it. Find a mentor that's already doing it so that they can help you show the way.
Yeah, that's
all right.
What we do.
And not a plug, but we both know, I'm sure we both would recommend Tressa Oswell Smallwood because her record speaks for itself. But beyond that, she is a good spiritual woman.
That's right.
And that's what I love.
It's true. Yeah. I know. I think. Well, I met her on Periscope, and Periscope doesn't even exist anymore, which is hard to believe. So that's when I met her over almost 5 years ago. It was on Periscope, and been with her ever since. So I know I would encourage any of you, if you are interested in writing, I would highly recommend Tressa Oswell Smallwood. Before I even do, there's some other comments. Dumas says, it says create her website on Facebook. I think you mean his wife Dumas? I don't know if that's who you mean. And then Sheila says, amen, well said. Thank you, Sheila. Thank you, Dumas. So I would encourage you, ladies and gentlemen, the one thing that for any of you, if you have any thoughts, and it doesn't matter if we're talking about writing, I think we mean that anything you're doing, get a mentor.
Yes.
Get a mentor. And I would venture to say, truthfully, the books, which I never would say the number until you said the number. I would always tell people I was writing, but I never said the number. But anyway, the point is that encouraging word from somebody who's already done it. The lady we're talking about has 165 books on Facebook. 165. Not Facebook, I'm sorry, Amazon. I never knew you could even get 165 books on Amazon. Yeah. But what she said is, you know what? I did it. You can do it. She said, she's often told me, I haven't done anything you can't do, including, like you said, your publishing company, Diamond and Light. Because she had all of us, didn't she tell us all to come up with our name for our own companies and everything?
Yes.
In addition to that, we came up, my husband and I, we created another media company called Center Stage Media. So we have gone into realms or the character. Oh, he said to put thank you, Dumas. Dumas said to put the character on Facebook. Your character for your movie, he's saying create a Facebook page for that character. And you know, Dumas, that's not a bad idea. I should be creating one. Oh, Sheila, you need a mentor? Okay. You can contact us. I don't know if you want to contact Daryn or contact me. You can contact either one of us. Oh, before we run out of time, let me make sure I put your information up too. But yes, you can mentor without, let me put your, here we go. I have here it is. His IG and his blog, his IG and his website. That's all up there. And for those that are contacting me, many of you know it's marydwelch.com, or you can send me an email at Mary@First Book Academy. So I try to, do I put it up? I don't know if I do I probably don't all the time. I probably should. I need to put it up there, but I don't as much as I probably should. And this is the email, I'm sorry, the text. But let me put Daryn's up again because I don't think I put it up enough on your, this is his, go to his website. He has a blog and he has an Instagram. And I'm sure he will be having a podcast soon. He just hasn't started yet.
Yeah, I was doing interviews at one time on the blog, and I turned the interviews. I was doing them live, and then I kind of turned them. I thought doing features would be a different take of doing it. So I started writing more, doing feature stories on current entrepreneurs and publishers and creatives.
Okay. We have a thank you from, hi, Cousin Gwen. And she said, thank you, Mary and Daryn. This was a nice chat. Blessings. Thank you. I'm going to tell you, when I tell you, ladies and gentlemen, we appreciate you. We more than you know. Your interaction helps us with as far as the show is concerned, and it means a lot. Every time you come on and make a comment, don't think it does. Don't think we don't appreciate it because we do. I want to, just before we end the show, just tell you how I am so honored that you came on today, that you spent this hour. Can you believe it's been an hour that fast?
Wow, that went really fast.
it, when you're really enjoying the conversation, it goes quickly. But thank you for coming by, and please come by again when your movie comes out. We have to have you back. I can't, and you don't know. Oliver and I may work on the movie. You never know.
You might.
I know you guys film back east. That's the only thing. But then again, that's okay.
Yeah. Hey, Mary, I got one project that's set for LA.
Do you?
Yeah.
Oh.
So
okay.
We'll see what happens.
Please even if it's back. I have family in Maryland too. I do.
Okay.
I have two cousins that they now live in Maryland. One's in DC and one's in Maryland. So just let us know. We do travel. So that's for sure. But thank you for coming on. Please come back and visit us again. And don't forget, hold your book up again so we can see the cover of the book. Yeah. And I'm gonna actually go online and get a copy today.
Okay.
So I can get.
This is the first one, Bold and Crazy Faith, the Inspirational. It's on Amazon. Okay. Bold and Crazy Faith 2, the meditations will be released in the second weekend in October 21.
Okay, it'll be out. Okay. So ladies and gentlemen, you're getting it hot off the press when it comes out in October of 2021. Thank you again, Daryn, for being here.
Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. You're welcome. And we have another comment for Elaine before the show. Oh, I'm over time, but I'm gonna put it up anyway. It's thank you, Mary. Does such a nice. Oh, that was Gwen. And Elaine said, thank you both for inspirational words. So informative. I learned something every week. Oh, you're welcome, Elaine. And Sheila said, thank you both. All right.
Awesome.
Thank you, everybody. All right. Come back again, Daryn.
Will do. Thanks again. Thank you, Mary.
Ladies, gentlemen, that's our show for today. We'll see you in a week. We'll be back again. But doesn't the weeks go by fast? This is already June. When I come back, it'll be July. Think about that. We're in the second half of the year already. So thank you. I love each and every one of you, and I will see you on Monday. Bye-bye, everybody.